All right, today we're going to be graphing quadratic inequalities, and I'm going to show you an easy way to let the calculator do most of the work for you. There is one part that you do have to do on your own. Other than that, the calculator does it. So at the very top of your notes, it has a less than and greater than symbol. Okay. Anytime you see less than or greater than where it does not have the line underneath, okay, you're going to graph a dotted line. So it should be dotted. Okay, and the reason we have it dotted is because that line actually means or equal to, and since it's not going to equal that number, we make it dotted so it's more like a boundary. It doesn't, those points actually don't, well, they aren't solutions, is what we say, okay? Now, if you do have a line underneath, like less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, these are going to be solid lines. And you might remember this from Algebra 1. So no line underneath will be dotted, line underneath will be solid. And this is the part that you are going to have to figure out on your own. Is it going to be solid or dotted? Okay. The next part, if you have less than or equal to, okay, if you have a less than symbol, you're going to shade below the line. Okay, and I can show you how to let the calculator tell you where to shade. If you have greater than or equal to, you're going to shade above. Okay, and like I said, I'll show you how to let the calculator tell you. You should have calculator steps passed out to you in case you forget, but we'll go over it. So let's look at number 1. We have y is greater than or equal to 3x minus 1 squared minus 4. Okay, and we did this a few weeks back where we said if it was vertex form, root form, standard form, stuff like that. Okay, this one is actually in vertex form. Remember, if you have a parentheses squared, it's vertex form. Okay, and so you ask yourself, okay, what is my vertex? Your vertex, you take the opposite of what's inside the parentheses. So it's going to be positive 1, and my y is negative 4. Okay, that's going to be my vertex. So I'm going to go ahead and plot that on my graph, 1, negative 4. And I'm also going to make that the middle point to my table, 1, negative 4. Okay, and I want to find points around that. Okay, so now let's make the calculator do the rest of the work. Go to y equals. Okay, and y equals, we're going to just put the equation right now. So 3 parentheses x minus 1 parentheses squared minus 4. Okay, so put in your equation. Don't worry about the greater than or equal to right now. Okay, we're just plotting points. Okay, go to your table, and we want to find some points around that vertex, 1, negative 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill out our table. We have negative 1, 8, 0, negative 1, 2, negative 1, and 3, 8. I guess 4 and 23. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and plot those points on your graph. Let's see, negative 1, 8, 0, negative 1, 1, negative 4, you already have 2, negative 1, and 3/8. Okay, now don't draw your line yet. Okay, just plot your points. So I'll give you a minute to get those points plotted. Okay, the reason we're waiting to draw the line is because you have to figure out if it's solid or if it's dotted. So look at your equation. Y is greater than or equal to. And ask yourself, is that going to be solid or is that going to be dotted? Okay. The line underneath is telling you it's going to be solid. Okay, so we need a solid line. All right. And now we're going to have to shade it. Okay. So greater than means you're going to shade above, but a lot of people get confused, like, is that inside the parabola? Is that outside the parabola? So let me show you how to let the calculator do it for you. Go back to y equals, okay? You should have your equation already in there, okay? Leave that. But now go to the left to where it's blinking on that part before y1, okay? And it gives you a bunch of different options on how to graph your line and what you want it to do. Right now it's at a solid line, okay? If you press enter, this is going to make it a really bold line. Press enter again. See that triangle that's shaded above? That's greater than. Okay, and I'm going to go through and tell you what these mean. Press enter again. The triangle that's below is less than. If you want it shaded below, press enter. Press enter. Those are going to give you just dots. A dotted line. So you keep pressing enter until you see the one that's greater than. Okay. So you want that triangle that's shaded above. Now, if your plot 1 is highlighted from yesterday, you need to make sure to turn that off or else it's not going to work. Okay. So make sure plot 1 is not highlighted. See how mine's not highlighted anymore? So you go up to it, you press enter, and it'll take that highlighted off. Okay, so now press graph. And my zoom is a little off, but you can see this parabola here. Okay, it's shaded inside the parabola. Okay, so that's where I'm going to shade on my paper. I'm going to shade inside the parabola. So now let's look at number 3. On number 3, we have y is less than 3, x minus 0, x plus 2. Okay, so you're going to ask yourself, what form is this in? Okay, and since we have those 2 sets of parentheses, we don't have a squared at all. This is root form. Okay. So since it's root form, it tells you what your roots are. Your roots for this one would be 0 and x equals -2. Remember, you do the opposite. So it's -2. Okay. So we're going to go to our graph. We're going to plot those first. Remember, roots are your x-intercepts. Okay, 2 and -2. So plot those. If you remember back from a few weeks ago, your vertex is in the middle of those 2 roots. So the middle of those 2 would be through -1. Okay. So that's what we want the middle of our table to be, -1, and we're going to find some points around that. All right, so let's go to y equals. We're going to put in 3, x minus 0, x plus 2. Okay, once you have that equation in, we're going to go to our table and find some good points. Okay, you want to find some points around that vertex. So some points around -1. Okay, so we have -3, 9, -2, 0, -1, -3, which is your vertex. Okay. 0, 0, 1, 9, and 2, 24. Okay, once you have those, you can plot those points. So we have 3, 9. Oh, I'm sorry, -3, 9. -2, 0, we already have. -1, -3. 0, 0, we already have. And 1, 9. Okay, do not draw your line yet. Okay, everybody messes that up. Okay, before you can draw your line, you have to look at your equation. We have y is less than. Okay, if it says less than, is that going to be solid or is that going to be dotted? Okay, and since there's no line underneath it, it's going to be dotted. So you'll have this dashed line for your parabola.